Okay, so today I am doing a little how-to video. So for those that have higher rate of fire guns, you know that your high caps sometimes don't feed with them. And this is a little mod that I've done with my mags to help them feed. So we'll start off by taking it apart. Now that you get it apart, take all that contents out so nothing shoots out everywhere. So one thing that can help you with your mag to feed better is cleaning it, like, because dirt and stuff will get in there and excess oil from the BBs and stuff. So you can start off by doing that. And another thing that I did to help it feed, and I was really surprised actually on how good this actually worked. Another thing is you can clean the spring. That also helps with feeding. But after a while, the spring will lose its tension because it's always wound up in this little box here, or circle. So what I do is I unravel it all, and you just use the little thing for reference. So if it's let's see, it goes here like that. Yeah, like this. So if it's in here like that and it's raveled up, its tension needs to be to it needs to have more tension in it. So what you do is, whichever way it wants to bend, you bend it the opposite direction. So I take a screwdriver here, you just wrap it around it, and then you just pull, and that'll reverse the way that it wants to turn. It doesn't take long. Just do the whole thing. It might start to get tangled up toward the back because it's all changing direction. But you just do this. All the way to the end. Okay, so now it is coiled the opposite direction that it's going to be in here. So it increased the tension. We put it back. I had already cleaned my spring, so it's already clean. Okay, so now you have it in there so that there is a lot more. It's bending the opposite direction that it wants to go. So when you put it back in here, I'll just do this real quick. Okay, so now when you put it back in here and you wind your magazine, and it's pulling it in, so you bent it the opposite direction. So the way you're bending it when you wind your magazine, it's bending it back that way. So all the tension's increased because you bent it the opposite direction. And after a while, like if you've had the magazine for a while, the tension will decrease and the spring will just get all floppy in there. So doing this is good to just increase the life of the magazine so that it keeps working and you don't have to buy a new one. Also, sometimes these come undone, so make sure you make sure that this spins and is on there tightly. Also, another thing that sometimes happens, this loop here, mine broke off, but from the factory there is like a square, but they do tend to break if you like overwind the mag a lot of times. So what you can do is you can just reform the loop to fit back in the way it was, so that it'll work again. Because you don't want to have to go buy a whole new magazine just because one little easy fix. Screw it in. Now I can do a little test to make sure it's working. And you want to wind it as much as you're going to like wind it in the game. Okay, I try not to overwind my mags, so this is about as much as I would do in a game. So you need to shoot it into your hand and make sure that they come out with enough force that they shoot all over, just like that. That's going to be fun to pick up. But make sure you keep doing it multiple times to make sure it's not just a one-time deal that it worked. And then you can put it in your gun and test it, and it should work. And that's just a little mod that I do to my magazines so that they feed better. This works in my 35 rounds per second gun. So, I mean, I'm sure if you have like a DSG and it's like 65 rounds per second, you might want to move to a mid-cap, which will definitely be able to feed better. But this is just a way to have high capacity and still good feeding. Thank you.